Shout outs to Generosity. Their Generosity. Simba has put me on to their videos. This video is called Tipping Culture. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Tipping. A generous act of courtesy you do when you're more than satisfied with the service you were providing, and you give them a little extra money. Usually you give these to your servers at restaurants, your barber, and strippers just as a way.
Oh my God. Oh my.
Strippers just as a way of telling them you're doing a good job. Go get yourself a nice pair of undies. And this overall thing is practiced all around the world. It's not exactly a foreign concept for anybody. Tipping is a normal thing, but no place on earth lets it give out the tip more than the US of A.
Hey,
We go X Games mode with the tipping over here, cause we be giving everybody tips. We tip our delivery drivers, taxis, bellhops, housekeeping, house movers, bartenders. If you're an in-person service, then most likely you accept tips. Even my homie's last job at the gas station where he just pumped people's gas, he got over $100 in tips in one day. I didn't even.
This is the reason why it is I can't stand being in New Jersey. Man, I already have a dislike for New Jersey as it is. But people that so anytime it is you're in New Jersey, and there's a couple of the states that's like this as well, they won't let you pump your gas. They have pumpers to do it for you. I almost had to sit there and tell this man to move. I'm like, bro, I can pump my own gas.
Even know people tip for that. We love to tip everybody except the homeless. But has it gone too far? Let me go off real quick. But I've been seeing tipping options where I've never seen them before. Like counter services, cashiers. I've never heard of tipping cashiers, but those blue blocks on the iPad beg to differ. One time I went to a concert and I went to the merch booth. I got a hoodie, bro handed me the hoodie, then turned around his iPad for a tip. Now I know these people don't get paid too well, but what in that interaction concurred a tip? Did he slip me $100 bill in a hoodie that I didn't see? I don't think so. So nah, I don't think I'm gonna tip. But I would usually see these in local businesses most of the time, so that's all fine and dandy. But I've heard Starbucks is also doing tips. Now I don't really go to
Starbucks is doing tips. Oh, this is a crazy pause. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So Starbucks is doing tips, because I remember as of last week, I went to Starbucks and I seen like the option to where it is that you can able to tip, and I'm just like, bro, I'm already giving you $6, damn near $7 for a drink, and you want a tip of the $7? Just take the whole 20 at this rate. You might as well. That's what it is you was looking for.
It's just not for me. I like my coffee a certain way. I like my coffee how I like my men. Long, black, and Vietnamese. And no offense to you Starbucks employees out there, but I'ma treat y'all like McDonald's and Burger King. Like, why would I tip the drive-through cashier? That just sounds unnecessary. And as long as those restaurants are not asking for tips, then I'm never gonna tip. Don't get no ideas, please. However, I understand why
Listen. Coming from somebody it is, I'll never forget this. My best friend got on me back when I was like 20 or 21, and we was at Friendly's, and I didn't tip. I signed what was on the exact amount of the receipt, and she looked at me, swear to God, still to this day, we've been friends for 13 years. She looked at me and was just like, "You're not gonna tip our server?" And I was like, well, I don't have all the extra money for all that. It's just like, so why the fuck did you come here? She exposed my ass publicly for it. But I can't thank her enough, though, because ever since then, I've been tipping people. And on top of that, too, I worked at Joe's Crab Shack.
These workers would want a tip, though. They work low-wage jobs, and sometimes they got families to take care of at home. So a tip or two would make their lives a little bit easier.
There's no way you could be.
I'm not trying to tip at Wendy's, bro. But I know that day will eventually come. I can smell it. This is the US. We'll somehow incorporate tipping into everything, so the employers can justify why they're paying their employees minimum wage. And whenever someone doesn't tip, they get mad at us instead of the business that's giving them a non-living wage. That's why tipping is super pushed. So
nah, we can definitely blame y'all too, because it's a service. It's a service at the end of the day. And don't be wrong, yes, you asked that for that job. You inquired for that job. Not the person that's receiving whatever on the other side. But it is good to tip your people. It is that, that's helping you out with the service.
Restaurants, for example, can pay their waiters low salaries to encourage them to aim for tips. So the waiters have to be as upstanding, top of their tippy toes, holly jolly of a worker as possible to try to get ends meet. So the customer can walk away feeling happy about their experience, the owner of the restaurant being happy because of the profit and good look of the business, while the waiters walk away with a $2 tip and food stamps for a salary.
Yeah.
Or at least that's just my theory, my game theory. Now, people that have never had a job might say, ain't that a good thing? It makes the waiters actually try to do their job well, bro. Ain't nobody want to work minimum wage, period, bro, in this economy. Doesn't matter if I'm getting tips. All it takes is one bad day of penny pinching tips to be like, well, Scoob, I guess we have to eat whatever's in the fridge tonight. I should know. I used to be a waiter. I was a waiter for weddings and other events in my late senior year, and my wage was decent, 15 an hour, and for a high school student, that's pretty good. Plus, I only worked on the weekends. Man, this job was gonna be a breeze. But that was only because I was a kid. I ain't need that much in the first place. All I thought is, if I can afford food, sold. But to spoil the fun, most of the time, I did not get any tips or very little tips.
Oh,
and
no.
95% of my gigs was at weddings, so the food was already paid for. I was giving these niggas free food, and I got nothing. And I was always all nice and shit. I was never mean. I was all like, hot diggity day, what would you lovely people like to have? I thought I was doing a good job. I even shaved off my hair to be more presentable, which is something. I thought I was doing a good job. I even
Please stop doing this to kids. Side note, please stop doing this to kids because you're trying to embarrass them to prove a point and you're doing stuff like this. Nope.
shaved off my hair to be more presentable, which is something I still regret to this day. Don't cut the hair you love for no jobs. Unless it look like this, you might get no job with that. I did get tips sometimes. The biggest tip I've ever gotten was $40 from a table of old white women and a gay dude. And from then on, they became my target audience. I'd always pick the table with the gay niggas, cause I know they'd give me the biggest tip. And me,
I ain't gonna lie. You know, it's bad when it is you have to discriminate to see like which table you think is going to tip you. It's bad when you have to look at a table and be like, oh man, there's a table full of niggas. Them niggas is not gonna tip. Well, let there be a whole bunch of, especially with like shout outs to all my people, the LGBTQ plus A community. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing it is like, shoot, especially gay men, especially this, and you act a little, you know, it's like, hey, you know, do a little sachet onto the table, they gonna tip you. You can do this with the men. Sometimes with the women, sometimes it is they be chill, they be real chill. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean. But it's crazy that like when you have to discriminate against like a table.
me complaining about small tips might sound like a trivial problem, but I'm talking about like in the grand scheme of things of this kind of job. Like if I was an adult with this job paying bills, taxes, rent, all that, I could not live like this. I know this because I had coworkers in their late 20s, 30s, 40s who said they couldn't take care of themselves with this wage. That's why they sold drugs on the side. That's why we should hold these businesses accountable to have higher wages for their employees so they don't have to rely on tips anymore. We must rise against this corrupt business practice. Who's with me? Hey, you're just saying this because you just don't want to pay tips no more. Well, duh. I don't like tipping. Who does? Who wants to pay more of their own money when they don't have to? I'm not a misogynist, a masochist. Wrong word. I am the other one. I'm not saying I don't tip. I do. But mainly because I want to at least try to balance out my good deeds with my bad ones when I'm in the pearly gates. I'm not trying to go to hell because I didn't tip my IHOP waitress who so happened to be battling cancer and diabetes that one time. I'm trying to get to heaven. But if I get
that's
zero
kind of crazy, gang.
dangs, or I would almost never tip. I would look at the bill, then pay the bill, then end it there. I would only tip if I received outstanding service, because, you know, most services nowadays are just average, you know, regular stuff, nothing to point out. But you still supposed to tip. In a perfect world, I would only tip if the person is enthusiastically nice, fast service, give me a back massage, and also pay for my food. Then I would tip. I can understand tipping
What?
delivery drivers because they also need the money to pay for their gas, but that can go with the higher wage argument that I said earlier. And if they show up mad late, then I don't have to tip them. We should bring back the 30 minutes or less or the food is free rule. I'd start ordering food from Russia on purpose, save myself a stack. And like I said earlier, I know these people need these tips to survive. I know they have mouths to feed. I know, I feel you. But in the back of my mind, I know I have mouths to feed too. My own mouth. And tipping is slowly taking that away from me. Now I'm gonna starve. And remember earlier when I said tipping is not a foreign concept? Well, apparently it is to most countries. Every time I look in the comment section for a post regarding tipping, 90% of the comments will be from foreigners saying, well, over here in Timbuktu, Jumanji land, we never even heard of tipping. I didn't even know Jumanji was a real place, but it sounds like...
You said that's right, we don't? Damn, that's crazy. US capitalism will do us every time, you know what I mean?
Heaven if they don't tip. And it makes me think the people of the US here are purposely fucking me with this tipping shit. It's to be expected we tip 20 to 25% of the bill here. You have a better chance pulling a gun on me and robbing me because that's the only way you're gonna get that much money out of me. And I've been seeing news reports about how there's a spread of self-checkout machines with tipping options. Who the hell am I tipping? Mr. and Mrs. Walmart themselves? Why they need my money? Why they...
Sammy said, never mind, I'm not visiting you no more.
need a tip? Any self-checkout tipping machine out there could suck the tip of my pee-pee. That's what you could do. And like I said earlier, I do tip my delivery drivers and waiters. I do. But I hate tipping. I bloody hate it. If I could abolish it, I would. I hate it.
Dang.
However, I know it's the right thing to do. Or at least I was raised to believe if I don't tip my waiters, I'm a which I don't really believe now, but I begrudgingly admit tipping won't kill me, so I still tip. How much I tip? None of your beeswax. And even though I tip...
He said, so I have to pay and tip for Poom Poom too? Sammy, Sammy, stop.
Most of the time. I'm not gonna tell y'all you should tip. You could do whatever you want with the money you've earned. Like, I could be spending my money on helping the children in Africa and building houses there. But how else am I supposed to pay for my drip? I need money.
Hey, listen, I was told it is out there that they got houses, gang. That's a whole myth to say it is that they ain't got it.
For my clothes, man. Those kids in Africa, they're not gonna pay for me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on tipping. Employees need better pay, so I can stop paying. And in conclusion,
element of surprise. Did you pray today?
Did you
pray today? Because if you didn't, I'ma have to you down on some.
Whoa, hold on, wait, whoa. But hey, y'all, listen, shout outs to the generosity. W video, by the way, especially with tipping culture, and to learn quite a lot with that, you know? W reactions, WU, and WU if you're out here tipping the people, you know what I'm saying?